All right, let's dive into something pretty interesting today.
Okay, sounds good.
This concept called justice love caught my attention.
Oh, yeah?
And we're going to check out this YouTube video clip from UBSG Indonesia.
Hmm.
It's titled 1389 Justice Love.
Interesting.
It really makes you think differently about relationships and making decisions and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. It is a different way to think about things.
The speaker in the video goes straight into it.
Right, into.
They're talking about how we always talk about love,
Yeah.
but we don't talk that much about justice when it
Yeah.
comes to relationships and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. We don't hear that very often.
We're always told to love our families and our partners and our communities, but do we ever think about if that love is fair?
Right.
Are we really helping people, or are we just saying we love them?
Yeah, are we empowering them or just kind of going through the motions?
I mean, are we just coasting on good intentions?
Yeah, exactly.
That's where this justice love comes in. It's not just about feeling warm and fuzzy.
Right.
It's about actually thinking about what's fair,
Hmm.
what helps the other person.
And not just what feels good right now.
Yeah, not just what feels good in the moment.
Exactly.
So it's not like the usual way we think about sacrifice.
Okay.
You know, like giving something up.
Mm-hmm.
Justice love is more about making sure your actions are actually helpful.
Right, and not just foolish, as the speaker puts it.
Oh, yeah, and maybe even harmful sometimes.
That's a good point.
The speaker really challenges the whole idea of unconditional love.
Yeah, they really do.
They say that without justice, it can be a bad thing,
Okay.
like even dangerous.
They said something like, unconditional love always has to consider the factor of justice
Oh, yeah.
and whether it's empowering us or not.
Okay.
If it's not empowering us, it's useless.
Wow, that's pretty strong.
It is a bold statement.
I mean, we always hear that unconditional love is what we should aim for.
Right. Unconditional love is the ideal.
So how can it be harmful?
Well, think about it.
Right.
If you keep giving and giving without thinking if it's actually helping, or if the other person is giving back to you, it can be a problem.
Okay.
You could end up feeling drained or resentful.
Yeah, you could even feel like you're being taken advantage of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So this justice love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does this work in real life?
Well, the speaker uses an example from the movie Vertical Limit.
Okay.
It's pretty intense.
Oh, boy.
There's this scene where a father has to make a really tough decision.
Okay.
He has to cut his son loose from a climbing rope
Oh,
to save his daughter.
Oh, my gosh. So he sacrifices one child to save the other.
It's a really tough scene.
Oh, I remember that scene. Yeah, it was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But I don't really see how it connects to justice love.
Yeah.
I mean, most of us aren't making those kinds of decisions every day.
That's true. Most of us aren't facing those extreme situations.
Right.
But think about it this way.
Okay.
Have you ever had to make a really hard choice?
Where what you need and what someone you love needs are totally opposite.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It could be like deciding to move for a job,
Okay.
even though it means uprooting your family.
Yeah.
Or maybe choosing between your dream and your partner's dream.
Oh, yeah. I've definitely been there.
Those are the kinds of tough decisions we face.
Yeah, it feels like no matter what you choose, someone's going to get hurt. So
Exactly.
that's why they use that really extreme example.
Yeah, they're trying to show how important it is to be mentally prepared,
Okay.
to really think about your values and priorities.
Before you're in that really tough situation.
Right, because in the movie, the father was able to make that decision
Mm-hmm.
because of his experiences and his mental training.
Okay.
But what if he hadn't thought about those things before?
I guess he would have been stuck
Yeah, maybe he would just done something without thinking.
and regretted it later.
Right.
So you're saying justice love is about being mentally disciplined.
The speaker calls it mental segmentation.
Okay.
It's kind of like dividing up different parts of your life and values in your mind.
Okay, so you're organized.
Right, so when you're in a crisis, you can handle it better.
You can make decisions that are good for everyone.
Yeah, that align with your values.
It's like having a plan in your head, right?
Exactly.
Like, okay, if this happens, this is what I'll do.
And this is what's best for everyone involved.
But can you really plan for everything life throws at you?
Oh, maybe not for everything.
Yeah.
But the speaker seems to think that this mental training,
Okay.
this thinking about your values, can make you more adaptable
Okay.
and more resilient when tough situations come up.
So you can roll with the punches.
Exactly. And they even tell a personal story to show what they mean.
Oh, yeah. What about that story?
It was really interesting.
I want to hear more about that.
The speaker talks about their grandchild falling from an apartment.
Oh, gosh.
And when they asked their child what they would do,
Yeah.
the child immediately said they would save their child's life over their own.
Wow. That's just natural, right?
Yeah, it's that parental instinct.
To protect your child at all costs.
Yeah, but how does this connect back to justice love?
Right, and mental segmentation.
The speaker believes that this instinct
Okay.
to protect,
Mm.
to prioritize,
Yeah.
can be developed through mental training.
So you're saying it's not just automatic.
Right. It's something you can work on.
Okay.
By practicing mental segmentation,
Mm-hmm.
we create these pathways in our minds for our values and principles.
Oh, I see.
So when we're in a crisis,
Yeah.
our response is more thought out.
It's not just pure emotion.
Exactly. It's more aligned with our beliefs.
So we're not ignoring our emotions.
No, not at all.
We're just training our minds to respond in a way that matches our values.
Even in those really intense moments.
Then the pressure's on.
Right. And this mental discipline, this ability to think clearly and act decisively.
Yeah.
It's not just for emergencies.
Okay.
It can help us in everyday life, too.
That makes sense. So how would justice love and mental segmentation play out in our everyday interactions,
Right.
you know, with our partners and friends and colleagues?
Well, think about how often we make decisions
Okay.
based on what's easiest or what avoids conflict,
Oh, yeah, to avoid a fight.
right? Or maybe we just focus on our own needs
Mm-hmm.
without considering how it affects others.
We don't think about the impact.
And justice love makes us stop and ask,
Oh.
is this really fair?
Mm-hmm.
Am I empowering myself and the other person with this choice?
So it's about being mindful in all our relationships.
Yeah, in every interaction.
Not just the big life or death stuff.
Exactly. It's about those everyday decisions
Mm-hmm.
and asking if they're based on justice love
Okay.
or if we're just acting out of habit or fear or selfishness.
It's like holding up a mirror to ourselves,
I like that. That's
challenging to our actions and motivations.
even in those small moments.
Yeah, the little things that we don't always think about.
Right. And, this mental segmentation. It reminds me of something
Right.
mindfulness practices.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever tried those? I've done some meditation
Yeah.
and some deep breathing exercises,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't see the connection to justice love.
Well, mindfulness is about training your mind
Okay.
to be present in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
to observe your thoughts and feelings.
Without judging them,
Right. And to act with intention.
to be deliberate.
It's about being aware of yourself and your surroundings.
Okay, now that you mention it,
Mm-hmm.
I can see how they're similar.
Yeah.
Mental segmentation and mindfulness.
They both emphasize self-awareness.
And taking action on purpose.
Right. They're both about taking a step back
Mm-hmm.
from our immediate reactions
Yeah,
and making choices that align with our values.
exactly.
Exactly. They both encourage us to be more thoughtful.
To not just react automatically.
Right. But to actively shape our lives and relationships.
It's like we're developing this ethical muscle
I like that.
by combining justice, love, and mindfulness.
Okay.
The more we practice, the better we get.
And making fair and empowering choices.
For ourselves and for others.
It's like we're building this mental framework
Mm-hmm.
that helps us make sense of life
And make good decisions.
with more clarity and purpose.
This is all really interesting.
It's definitely thought-provoking.
But I have to admit, the idea of actually doing this in my life,
Putting into practice.
yeah, it feels a little overwhelming.
It's understandable.
Where do you even start?
That's a good question, and it doesn't have to be overwhelming.
Okay.
Start by paying attention to your inner voice.
Like, what am I thinking?
Yeah, when you have to make a decision,
Okay.
ask yourself,
Mm-hmm.
am I acting out of fear
Okay.
or obligation,
Uh-huh.
or am I making a choice that feels right based on my values?
That considers other people.
Exactly.
So just taking a moment to think before you act.
Right.
What else can we do?
The speaker in the video talks about having a principle of values.
Oh, yeah.
It's about figuring out what's really important to you.
What you stand for.
Exactly what principles you want to guide your life.
Okay, so get clear on your values
Hmm.
and then use them to make decisions.
Right, and this principle of values,
Yeah.
it's not something you just write down and forget about.
Okay.
It changes as you grow.
It evolves.
Yeah, it's about reflecting on your experiences
Thinking about what you've learned.
and making adjustments as you go.
So it's a continuous process.
Of self-discovery and
Yes,
improvement.
it's not about being perfect.
Right.
It's about trying to be better
To make choices that reflect your values.
and make the world a little better.
A more just and equitable world.
Exactly. And what's really interesting
With that.
is that this justice love idea,
Yeah.
it's not just about our own actions.
Mhm.
It's also about how we relate to others.
And build communities.
That's a really cool point.
How does justice love affect that?
I'm curious to hear more.
When you think about a strong community,
Okay.
it's built on trust and respect.
Yeah.
and a feeling that we're all in this together.
Shared responsibility.
Right. And those things are really connected to justice love.
Okay.
When we focus on fairness and empowering others, we're creating an environment that's more just and equitable for everyone.
So it's not just about personal growth.
No, it's bigger than that.
It's about creating a culture of justice love.
In our communities.
Yeah, and even in the world.
Exactly. Our choices have a ripple effect.
Like throwing a stone in a pond.
Right. By embracing justice love,
Yeah.
we're not only making our own lives better,
Okay.
we're also helping to create a more just and compassionate society.
It's easy to forget that.
Yeah, we get caught up in our own lives.
Right, and forget that our choices affect other people.
It's definitely a journey,
Yeah,
but that's what I like about this deep dive.
it's that.
It's not about being perfect.
Okay.
It's about always trying to be better,
More mindful.
more compassionate
And more just...
in everything we do.
And I really liked the speaker's call to action.
Oh, yeah. What did you think about that?
They want us to really take this justice love idea seriously and to practice mental segmentation.
To figure out our own values.
Right, to develop our own principle of values.
Yeah, it's like they're challenging
To
us
think differently.
to be proactive,
Not just reacting to what happens around us.
but shaping our lives and our communities.
So what's the main takeaway from this deep dive?
What should people remember?
What do we want them to take away from this conversation?
I think it's that justice love is more than just an idea.
It's a way of life.
It's a call to action,
Okay.
to look at our motivations,
To think about the impact of our choices.
and to really strive for fairness and empowerment.
In all our relationships.
Exactly. It's a reminder that love,
Yeah.
real love,
Transformative love.
requires more than just good intentions.
You have to back it up with action.
Right. It requires us to actually seek justice.
For ourselves and for others.
That's a great way to put it.
So as we wrap up this deep dive on justice love, I have one last question for you to think about.
All right, I'm ready.
How could you apply this concept in your own life?
In my relationships and decisions,
Yeah, and how could it change your role in your community?
and in the world.
It's something to really consider.
Definitely.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was a good one.
And until next time, keep asking questions.
Keep learning.
And keep seeking justice in everything you do.